How's it going? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. Just making a relatively quick update video on the portfolio and how's it going. No, I have not sold. Every fiber in my being told me to, but I did not sell. And I just wanted to just get the elephant out of the room. Of course, I haven't uploaded in a couple of weeks. I think I've made a couple posts in terms of the pictures just to show the dividends, but I haven't made a video in quite a bit, and you can probably see why. Just this all together. Good news, annual dividend, our monthly dividend has reached past 1,000. So cool. Bad news, the market shitting. Pardon my French. Absolutely absolutely wild right now. What I do during these circumstances, how I typically deal with it is I look away. I try to stay away, because if I look at this for too long, I'm going to pull the trigger, because my psychology, and knowing this from experience, my psychology will induce the fear, even though logically I understand in the long run this is still fine. I know it does look crazy right now, and there are aspects such as the margin status saying low risk, but this is pretty freaking risky right now, because the margin total is 12 grand, but this portfolio was, if we check here, this portfolio has gotten $17,700 put into it through either the initial deposit and the dividends combined equals 17.7 grand. But there's only 8.7 grand as of recording left. So the first order of business is to reduce the margin total to at least equal this drop right now. That's kind of the goal. It's going to be pretty far, and at the rate it's going, it will take, if we use this number right now, $8,700, it's going to take 3-ish months to recover and recoup and get that margin back to equal with the value of the portfolio itself. There's not really many good things to say about this. As you can see, all red across the board. How could it not? Right? RDTE down 26%, YMAX down 29%, OR down 32%, Nvidia down 39%, etc. This is just a perfect way for me to essentially show you the feelings, the emotions, the thoughts of a person who is, for a better lack of term, drowning in this crash. I don't know if it's a downturn that's going to last for too long. Logically, history has shown that when we have large drops like this, it's typically followed by constant increases for extended periods of time. There's only been few and far between where it has dropped this far down and has stayed this far down for extended periods of time. But also with the political climate and all that jazz, again, I try to stay out of that too. So strictly just trying to get dividend income, a lot of waffling. But let me just give an overview of the actual, not just the portfolio, not just the monthly income, but also the dividend payouts. Something green, and the world is in a sea of red right now. But the green is how much we got paid in dividend as of today, because dividend, it is payday today. It don't feel like it, but it definitely is payday. If we look over here, from Alti, YMAX, Netflix, Coney, YBTC, RDTE, we're getting a solid, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that number is combined, but 130, 210, $200-ish in total for the week. Pretty good. And in total, we're now $3,300. So we are 28% paid off from our initial investment of $12,000. Very exciting. Very cool. That's the only positive thing you're going to hear from me. But of course, I'm just going to emphasize again, just emphasizing, we are not selling. I did not sell anything. In fact, I did the opposite. I took the money that the dividends paid out and I reinvested it into IMAX. Part of me wants to go defensive and start buying things that are lower dividend but are more consistent. But the other part of me is saying we will ride. So I think I'm just going to follow with the latter, since that was the plan. I don't know if I'm going to be investing into things like Misty and Tesla and these high yield stuff. I think I'm going to be more closer to index things like the RDTE. And if there is a good S&P 500 high yield weekly paying dividend, I'd probably look into that, see if there's more index based high yield weekly paying funds. I'll probably look into those to make those stronger positions, more core positions, essentially, just bigger core positions. And whenever this whole thing kind of brushes over, because literally last week I could have been talking to you with 10 grand in my account. No, sorry, yesterday I could have been talking to you with 10 grand in my account. And then the day before that, I could have been talking to you with 11 grand in my account. So the fluctuations and the dynamics in which things are moving is quite absurd to me. Personally, I've never seen such drastic decreases. If we look at the actual index itself, we can see that SPY has gone down quite a bit. Oh, quite a bit. Look at that. Holy moly. And a 10% drop in the past month. Something. 10% in the span of April 2 to April. Wait, no shot. April 2, 564 into 520. But absurd. Anyway, just wanted to give that brief update. Again, if you do not hear from me for the next couple of weeks, you will understand why. You'll know why. It's mainly just me trying to use the psychology in my favor, trying to stay away from this as we're blowing over, sticking with the plan, of course, but trying to stay away from it and stop looking at it so as much as I typically do, which is once a week. Now I'm looking at it once every 2-3 weeks whenever I have to update the spreadsheet, this one that I'm showing you, to see how far we are on our payoff bracket. But besides that, not really doing anything else. And now that we're trying to we're trying to essentially get our margin buffer back up to 50%. If we can get that margin buffer closer to 50% again, I'll feel a little bit better. Of course, this does not feel good at all, this investing number right here, this number down here, up here. But all in all, that will be the plan. We're just going to be moving forward with that. I will try to make the post to show the dividend payments, but to be honest, I've even turned off notifications on my phone for stuff like this too, because I just didn't want to be reminded. Of course, I'm completely out of context with this channel, but I have been having to focus on a bigger thing that's happening currently in my life for these past few months, and I will be having to focus on it again for the next 2 months. So I'm taking that as a sign of basically allowing me to focus on something else. Nothing crazy or nothing serious, all right? I'm not going to disclose that, but it's something that I'm going to have to put basically all of my effort into. Thus, I will not be tempted, or I don't even want to look at this portfolio for too long. Even this recording in and of itself. If we look into our holdings right here, left side, you can see we are down over $7,750, over a 26% drop in the portfolio. That includes margin. So we have gotten paid, let's do this real quick. We have gotten paid $3,360, and we've lost over $7,750. So we have nearly lost double the amount that we've gotten paid just from this mishap that's been going on. So not the biggest fan. If you are also in a similar position, I would advise you to do something similar to myself. You got to just focus on something else. You just got to ride the wave. If you're in index funds, if you're in a 401k, I've seen some people do some ridiculous shit like pull out of their 401k or something ridiculous like that. Please do not do that. Just ride the wave. Keep putting stuff in. Keep contributing every payday with your 401k, whatever percent they match. Just stay consistent. Ride the wave, because history has shown time and time and time again, even during the craziest points, the most earliest probably being COVID, even in the craziest of times, we have not only bounced back, but have reached all-time highs once again. And these big downturns are scary at the moment, but in time, you will see that it is just a small drop into what is going to be a huge recovery. That is not me politically trying to support anybody or anything like that. It is just what the data shows, and that's all it is. So hopefully that gives a little bit of optimism in what I deem to be quite a sad video, but it's probably going to sound like this for the next couple of weeks if I'm, for some reason, able to shave a couple minutes to be able to edit this video and upload another weekly video. So I'll hopefully see you next week. And maybe we'll be back into double digits. Who knows? Maybe back into 10 Gs. 10 Gs would be nice. 10 Gs would be nice. But beggars can't be choosers. And right now I feel like a beggar with how much I've lost. But I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.